Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to Right Nice Places with me, Dan. I am thinking of changing the name of this channel to Right Wet Places very soon, because every time I come out at the moment it's absolutely battering it down. So cheers winter, you're doing really well. But where am I today? Well, I am on the hunt for mythical Welsh things today, so let me show you exactly where I am. So I've started in this place this morning, and this is Llyn Tacwyn, and I'm going to teach you a little bit more about this. And this is Llyn Tacwyn Iseth, which means lower, which must mean there's another one higher up. So what we're going to do now is head off up into these hills and see where we get. So if you're new to this channel, my name's Dan, and what I like to do with my little faithful hound Max every week is we take you to right nice places in our home in North Wales, Eryri, and we try and teach you some Welsh. We try and show you some right nice places, and we also try and discover a little bit of myth and legend on the way, which is exactly why we're at Llyn Tacwyn today. But this is a very much a hidden gem in the foothills of the Rhinoeg. So to know exactly where I am, and if you want to do the route, here's the map. So I started the walk by driving up to and parking at Llyn Tacwyn Iseth before making my way up a very easy to follow farm track around the upper lake, and then I carried on through the ancient forest that I talked about on the video. And this part of the path was so easy, so flat, suitable for everybody, but the views were magnificent. And then we ended back at the lower lake, exactly where we started. So the area I'm walking in today is called Tacwyn and Llyn Tacwyn. And this is Llyn Tacwyn, which is the church. And Llan in Welsh means a site of holiness or a holy place. Tacwyn was a Celtic saint from Brittany that arrived in Wales in the Welsh Age of Saints. This is the church he set up. And this is one of the reasons why we're here today. Not just this church, but to discover not only the Celtic saint of Tacwyn, but why he came here and why he felt the need for God in this area. This was very early Christianity in Wales, this site, very early. So if you can imagine going all the way back to sort of, you know, times forgotten, and monks would have been pilgrimaging across these hills. I don't think I said a real word then, but going for a pilgrim across these hills and walking up the estuary in front of me that you can see. It's where Port Merion is, so that's Tremadog Bay that you can see in front of me. You see Port Merion on the right hand side, and then you can see the mists rolling in over Eryri. And mists are something else we're going to talk about, because they're another reason why we're here today. So let's go, let's discover more of Tacwyn and the mysteries surrounding these hills. So just why have I come to a church in the middle of nowhere on a very damp, dark, cloudy Sunday morning? Well, first off, I've got to do a channel, haven't I? I've got to do my channel, I've got to do Right Nice Places, got to get a video out to you lovely folks who keep watching me, which I'm right pleased with, so thank you very much. We're almost at the magic 500, 495 at the last count, so if you've not already hit subscribe, then please do, because it's absolutely free of charge. But why have I chosen today to come here? Well, it's a mystical place, and apparently the two lakes that we're going to be looking at, Borodar, David, oh, they're all running off, lots of sheep there, but apparently these two lakes, what they are, or what the higher one is, Llyn Tacwyn Iseth, which is where we're going now, it's 3 miles up this road, was believed to have been an entrance to the other side. And by the other side, I don't mean that fabulous track by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't mean we're going to get there in the jukebox. What I mean is this is how you crossed to the underworld. In Welsh mythology, and oh my gosh, this is a deep one. How the hell? Bloody hell, Maxie. So me and Max are just wading through a lake. It's so wet up here. But yes, so the lake that we're going to, apparently this is where the fairy folk live. And the fairy folk, when the mist comes down, which, you know, it's kind of surrounding us, so when the fairy folks are luring you, I think is the right word, to Llyn Tacwyn. And this is where it's believed that you can cross into the other side. And if you want to know more about that sort of Celtic mythology and history and Llyn Tacwyn and crossing onto the other side, then I strongly recommend you read the Mabinogion, which is kind of roughly translated as Tales for Boys, but it's some of the oldest recorded Welsh writings and stories that exist, and it's bloody brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Very Lord of the Rings-esque. You can see where Tolkien got his stuff from. But if you don't want to read, you can't be asked to read, then download BBC Sounds, and they do the Mabinogi on as a series of podcasts. Somebody else put me onto it. It's absolutely bloody brilliant, I must confess. So that's why I'm here today. That's where I'm looking for. I'm looking for the entrance to the Celtic underworld, and let's see if we can find it. A couple of miles into the walk now, and we've found Llyn Tacwyn Uchef even, which is the higher of the two lakes, and apparently where the normal world meets the supernatural world. So we're about to get there, but the reason I've stopped filming, or started filming for a second, is I felt like I was about to enter to the other supernatural world. Look how low these pylons are. Let me show you this. Quite make out on the camera, but I feel like these are almost touching distance where I am in this valley, and the pylons are coming up. Being a child of the 80s, I have a very healthy respect for pylons, because if you're a new gen kid, a new Gen Z type kid, then you've not had the traumatic adverts that we used to have as a kid, because, you know, it'd be deemed unsafe or triggering, I should imagine. But it reminds me of the stuff when I was a kid, you know, like, you see these warnings on telly, don't cross train lines, it'd be some kid like, nah, getting zapped, and don't fly your kite or have fun, and another kid getting zapped. We're all very scared of electricity in the 80s, but then perhaps we listened because I didn't know if anybody got electrocuted, so, you know, who knows. But yeah, sorry, completely changing subject there, but I just freaked out for a second with the pylons being so low. But anyway, the wind's picking up, the mist is rolling in, and that can only mean one thing. We're about to enter the other side. Let's have a look at it, shall we? Maxie has got no fear and is running straight towards the water. The other world does not concern him, but then nor should it, because he's a dog, and dogs are often depicted as guiding people through the underworld, aren't they? But here we are. I'm sorry if that wind is blocking the sound a little bit, but it is picking up. I don't want to say a hell of a lot around here because, yeah. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this is Llyn Tacwyn. Get out of that bloody water, dog. I don't want you going to the other side. Max doesn't care. Max is in the water. Spirits or no spirits, he's in there. This is a weird looking water, but what we're going to do is on the left hand side of this water, you should see that path just cutting through the hills. We're going to take that, and what I'm going to do is try and find somewhere along that route to stop for a brew so we can enjoy this lake. I'll see you in a second. I'll be honest, folks, I just want to show you a few of these rocks. So this is the entrance to the underworld, right? It feels a bit like that, I'm not going to lie, and you know me, I like a myth and a legend, but let me just show you all this burnt sort of bracken and dark rocks around me. Let me show you this. So this is the side of Llyn Tacwyn, and just look at how foreboding these cliffs are. Jet black, jagged, scary, full of caves, and all this burnt, windswept bracken everywhere. It is very much an apocalyptic feel to it, or a landscape to it here. So we're right in the foots of the Rhinoigs, or the Rhinog Mountains now. If you want to see a video on the Rhinogs, then I did do one on Rhinog Vower quite a while back. I'll post the link in the description. But it's the Túl Oith Teg, which is the name of the fairy folk that live in this area and descend mist onto sort of unsuspecting travellers to lure them into the bottom of this apparently bottomless lake to the underworld. And I am a little bit concerned, because if I just show you around me, it was pretty good views a minute ago, but now I'm here. Look at the mist rolling in on the hills on all sides. Now I've got Max with me, guiding me and leading the way and protecting me from those rascally fairy folks. But it is a bit weird, isn't it, that legend has it that the fairy folks bring the mist, and here I am surrounded by the bloody stuff. But then again, maybe it's no mystery at all. This is North Wales, this is December. It's always bloody misty, wet and cold. Although today is surprisingly warm. Yeah, it's just wet and windy, man. But let me show you this path. This is beautiful. This is, so far, folks, it's a bit of a mad drive to get here. But what a bloody good walk this is for literally anybody of any fitness level. And, you know, it's just nice, just really nice. Let me show you. Maxie have just come, excuse me, me and Maxie have just gone slightly off route and come up this hill. Now back, as well as the myths and legends surrounding Celtic folklore and the underworld, these lakes factually we know were used during the 18th and 19th century, this one and the lower one, to power very small slate mines and quarries in the area, mainly in the sort of Artro Valley and the foothills of the Rhinogs, which is where we are now. Me and Max have come up this path because it's clearly the entrance to one of these old mines. And just at the top of me here, if I turn the camera slightly so you can see behind me, just behind me here is the entrance to that. So we're not going to go any further because I don't want to advertise mine entrances because they're fucking dangerous, you know. I can see another one just over there. So there's a lot of them on this land, so this water also powered them. So we're going to head back down this hill and join the path proper as you've seen on the map. So this was a little bit offbeat, but I'm glad we did it because the view is bloody good. What a right nice place. Yes, that's me and Max coming down from the mine entrance, and this wind's chilling. It's gone absolutely chilling at the minute here. But one other fascinating things about these lakes as we're walking down towards them is these are not just lakes that have been used for quarries. They're not just Welsh and Celtic mythology sites. These were landmarkers for pilots during the Second World War as well. So down at Llanbedr airfield, which is just ahead of me going towards the coast now, it was an RAF, yeah, of course it was an RAF base during the Second World War, and it's where pilots and bomber pilots and trainee pilots would have left from. And obviously navigation back then wasn't quite what it is today. You know, they didn't have the technology that we have. So a lot of it was visual in terms of navigation. Now around here with the mists, the mountains and all sorts of other stuff, it was a very difficult thing. So these lakes were used, they were in a direct path to Llanbedr airfield, which I found is absolutely fascinating. You know, just to think that it's weird, isn't it? This is what I say about Wales a lot when we come around. There is nobody here. You know, me and Max haven't seen a single soul today. There's very few people live in this little area anymore. But back in the day, you had an RAF base. You know, you're only going back 70, 80 years. You would have had hundreds of men in this area. You know, before that, with the quarries, you would have had thousands of men and families in this area. You know, where have these people gone? And you talk about sort of population dispersal. It's crazy, isn't it, really? And then you think about the Welsh language, and it's no wonder that it's on its arse, quite frankly, in terms of, you know, there's only 50% of the population speak it in Wales. And with the amount of Welsh people that would have been forced to move out of these areas when ultimately the industry died, it's no surprise the language kind of went a little bit with it, is it? Which is why, obviously on this channel, we try and promote the beautiful Welsh language as often as we can. I'm not going to promote it right this second because I'm concentrating on not slipping down this slate path. Stunning though, really stunning. Anyway, let's go and have a brew. Getting a eat first on. So, thought we'd stop for a little brew whilst the rain's holding off a bit, but it's nowhere near as wet as it was last week when we went on our walk. Jeez, I got soaked that week. I mean, it's wet today and it is predicted to get wetter. I've got more Gore-Tex pants and stuff in my bag, and I've even brought a poncho with me today. Not a poncho to put on, but like a military one that I can make a shelter out of. So if I want to stop for my lunch and I don't want to get piss wet through, I can make a little shelter today. But I thought we'd stop, we'd have a chat. You know, we always have a brew while I've got a view, don't we? And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. Please subscribe if you haven't, it's absolutely free. But more important, the other thing I wanted to talk about today was men's mental health again. You know, it's really important to me, men's mental health. It absolutely appalls me, and it should appall you as well, that men in this country under 50 are more likely to die from suicide than from any other cause, and that just frightens me, and it's not good enough, and it's wrong. And the reason I'm bringing it up today is, you know, I battle with my own mental health, as many of us do. I think it's 1 in 4 adults now in the UK are suffering from some sort of mental health issue. And you know, that's not a good statistic either, is it? And I'm really not surprised with the state of the country. But one thing I wanted to bring it back to really is bear in mind, it's December now, yeah? And there are dads out there, 200 dads a day lose contact with the children. I'm one of them. And, you know, it's coming up to December now and it's hard. So if you see blokes looking sad in the street or looking a bit down or you're a bit worried about your mate who may have just gone through a divorce, or check on him. Because let me tell you, sitting in an house like I am at the minute, without putting decorations up, without hearing the excitement of a kid opening an advent calendar every day, without writing letters to Father Christmas and receiving letters back from Father Christmas, without watching Christmas movies and Home Alone and Elf, baking cookies, any of that, none of it takes place in so many men's households this year because they've been screwed over by a family court system and by bitter women who are financially incentivized to allow men to not see the children, and that's fucking wrong on all sorts of levels. So, you know, please, this Christmas, think. It's not just old women and men whose relatives may have died that are alone. It's men like me who for years celebrated Christmas. They've looked to the skies on Christmas Eve, got excited, been part of the greatest thing you'll ever be part of, a child's life, and then it's gone. And you sit there wondering, fuck, how did that happen? Why am I now sat alone in an empty house with no decorations, you know? So I brought it to your attention today because it is December, and I know we all get carried away in Christmas and the excitement, and rightly so, and so we should. But if you have got a friend who's gone through divorce, who's battling through family court, and you know them, then reach out to them and just make sure they're all right. Because 80 men a week died in this country. It's fucking way too many, in it. Let's be honest. Anyway, let's enjoy this view of the underworld, shall we? Enough sad talk, he says, and then decides to talk about the underworld. Anyway, cheers for watching. I've got my stupid hat on again, and I know it looks stupid, but I must recommend these sealskin hats purely because they are bloody warm and they are bloody waterproof, even if it does look like you're wearing some sort of weird condom or I look like a mad navigator or something like that. But I don't care what I look like. It's about being warm and dry so you can enjoy the outdoors, isn't it? And speaking of enjoying the outdoors, I am enjoying this walk. I've left the lakes and I'm now in a place, and I hope I'm saying this right, I'm in a forest called Coed Velenurith. Which is again on the foothills of the Llyn. But what makes this forest very, very special is it's classed as ancient woodland, which what that means is it can be dated back to around about 1600 AD. And this is some of the more natural woodland in Britain. So we've got birch, hazel, oak, and I'm going to show it you now. So here we go into this forest. You can see where Max is leading the way down there. And if I sweep to the right here, you should be able to see more and more trees going off. And as I said, this forest is an ancient forest. This has got some of the most sort of native trees, species, and obviously not each tree is from 1600 AD, but the saplings are, and you know, it's of the same family, and these trees have been here for that long. Which I always think, if you had a superpower, right, and I know it sounds a bit weird and everyone would pick flight and stuff, but wouldn't it be good to be able to talk to trees of this age? Because these people have seen all of the history. Ooh, dodgy branch to go under. Always freaks me out, this chisel. There we go. But yeah, so it means this forest has been here for an awful long time and it's seen an awful lot of stuff on it. So I'd love to be able to be a tree whisperer. So I'm still walking through the woods at the minute. I don't think I'm a million miles from the end of it. About 4 or 5 mile into the walk now. It's only a 6.5, 7 miler in total, I think. So not far to go. I did bring the jet boil with me today. I was hoping to have some lunch, but I've had a banana en route and I'm just not feeling too hungry. So I'm going to be cooking a sweet, sweet sausage casserole when I get home. Because it's that sort of day, innit? Damp weather and all that. But anyway, the reason I thought I'd video is, one thing I'll say about this walk is it is perfect for absolutely anybody. Unless something crazy happens, oh, deep puddle, in the last 1.5 miles, I would recommend this walk to just about anybody. And if you're coming to Eryri, and maybe mountains aren't your thing, maybe you don't want to climb peaks, maybe that freaks you out, maybe you're just looking for a nice walk for all the family, but away from the crowds, then this is the one, you know. Absolutely stunning. Plenty to keep a kid entertained throughout the walk. I mean, who doesn't like collecting sticks? And having a look in trees, and you know, you're going past old quarries and mythical lakes, and at the same time you get to see the tops of, not today perhaps because of the mist, but you can certainly see all the peaks around you. And what's nice on this walk is there's certain points where you can see northern Eryri, so the likes of, you know, the big one, Eryri or Snowdonia, but you can also see the Llyn and Eryri at points as well, so you get to see the peaks of all the famous mountains without actually having to climb any. And the path, I mean, I'm going up a little hill now, but the path, as you can see behind me, is an old forest track. So we had that slightly narrower path alongside the lake, but it was a really easy path. You know, I'd go so far as to say you'd be all right on crutches on there, certainly with a walking stick. And then this walk, this part, any bugger could do it. You know, you could push a pram up here. Absolutely delightful. But the views, the peace and tranquility and sort of beauty of it all, especially this time of year when the colours are changing. Top walk, guys, absolutely top walk. So yeah, I'll talk to you again when we get to where we started, but slightly on the other side of Llyn Tacwyn, Isev. I don't know how to pronounce lower in Welsh. That's quite embarrassing, isn't it? So if you're Welsh and you're watching this, my apologies, but also leave in the comments the sort of phonetic pronunciation, if you will, please. But yeah, so we're going to end up at the lower lake again, on the other side of it. So I'll chat to you when we get there. See you in a sec. So we're not far back off the second lake, or the bottom lake, but I just spotted this little Welsh sign, so I thought we might as well have a quick look at it and see if we can see what it says. So we've got Pergl at the top, or Perigl is danger. Alright. Dŵr dyfn, so deep water. And the top word I'm not familiar with, the deep drops, is disgynaeth dyfn, I think, dyfn. So I've never heard that word before. But then down just below that we've got no swimming, and no in Welsh is dim, and nofio is swimming, so dim nofio. And then at the very bottom, keep out Cadwch Allen. So I don't know who Alan is, but nobody in Wales seems to like the bloke. They always want him to stay out. I told you that this walk is for everybody, and I still mean that. But just to pre-warn you, if you do the loop that I showed you on the map, the last mile has got quite a few of these steep little hills. There's nothing wrong with the path, nothing wrong with the track, but they are pretty steep, just so you know. So me and Max are almost back at Lower Tacwyn now, the lake. I can see my car right in front of me, and it's just a lovely walk, that, guys. A really nice circular walk. I'll show you in front of me now. You can see where I'm parked on the right hand side, the blue car, but on the left there you should be able to see the track going uphill. That's where we started, and that's where we took our first steps towards the upper lake. And now we're back here at the absolutely stunning lower lake. So I think me and Max here, I'm not quite ready to go home yet. We're going to go and sit under that tree over there while it's raining and have a brew. So we've got our brew. We're out of the rain. I am once again wetter than a trout's tummy. It has been unbelievable this month, hasn't it? Thank gosh for Gore-Tex, let me tell you, because if not, I won't be coming out. But unlike last week, it isn't big, fat, heavy stuff where you can't film in. It's that fine stuff, you know, soaks you through, spitting and all that. But anyway, so here I am at the lower lake. Here I am with my brew, and this has been me, Dan, at Right Nice Places. Thanks again for joining me this week. I hope you'll like, share, and if you haven't done so already, then please do subscribe. It's absolutely free of charge. I'm so close to that 500 mark now. It proper makes me happy, and it keeps giving me that motivation to come out on these walks that clear my head, good for mental health, and we all learn a little bit about the local area as well. So, as always, guys, I hope I see you again next Tuesday in another Right Nice Place at 8 PM. I've been Dan. Thanks for joining. See you soon.